The journey of Dr. Aisha, a poor girl's dream to become a doctor. In a remote village surrounded by lush green hills, there lived a girl named Aisha. The village was small and isolated, with little access to the modern conveniences of the world. Most of the people there were farmers, toiling day and night to make ends meet. Aisha's family was among the poorest in the village, and life was a constant struggle. Her father worked as a laborer, earning just enough to keep the family fed, while her mother did her best to stretch every penny. Despite the hardships, Aisha was a bright and determined child. She loved learning and would often borrow books from the village school to read by the dim light of a kerosene lamp. Her teachers noticed her potential and encouraged her to pursue her education, but they knew that the road ahead would not be easy. In a village where most girls were expected to marry young and stay at home, Aisha's dream of becoming a doctor seemed almost impossible. Aisha's fascination with medicine began when she was very young. The village had only one health clinic, staffed by an elderly doctor who visited once a week. The doctor was a kind man, but he was often overwhelmed by the number of patients who needed his help. Aisha would watch him treat the sick and injured, admiring his skill and compassion. She knew that many people in the village suffered because they couldn't afford proper medical care, and she wanted to change that. As Aisha grew older, her dream of becoming a doctor became more urgent. She wanted to help her village, to provide the care that so many desperately needed. But the obstacles were immense. Her family had no money to send her to school beyond the basics, and there were no scholarships available in the village. The idea of a poor girl like her becoming a doctor seemed like a fantasy, something that people whispered about with pity and doubt. But Aisha was not one to give up easily. She knew that education was the key to her future, and she was determined to find a way. She worked hard in school, always at the top of her class, and spent her free time studying on her own. She read every book she could find on science and medicine, often staying up late into the night to memorize facts and practice problems. Her teachers were amazed by her dedication, but they also worried about what would happen when she finished school. Without money or connections, how could Aisha possibly continue her education? One day, a new opportunity presented itself. A local charity organization announced that it would be offering scholarships to promising students in the region, specifically for those who wanted to study medicine. The competition was fierce, with many students from nearby towns applying, but Aisha knew she had to try. She spent weeks preparing for the entrance exam, pouring all her energy into studying. When the day of the exam arrived, Aisha was nervous but determined. She knew that this was her only chance to achieve her dream. After what seemed like an eternity of waiting, the results were announced. Aisha had passed the exam with the highest score in the region, earning a full scholarship to a medical college in the city. The news spread through the village like wildfire, and Aisha's family could hardly believe it. Their daughter, the girl who had grown up in poverty, was going to become a doctor. The journey to the city was a daunting one for Aisha. She had never been away from her village, and the bustling streets and towering buildings of the city were overwhelming. But she reminded herself of her purpose, and with a heavy heart, she said goodbye to her family and boarded the bus to her new life. Medical college was a world away from anything Aisha had ever known. The workload was intense, the subjects difficult, and many of her classmates came from wealthy, well-educated families. At first, Aisha felt out of place, as if she didn't belong. But she quickly realized that this was what she had worked so hard for. She threw herself into her studies, determined to prove that she was just as capable as anyone else. The years at medical college were challenging, but Aisha excelled. Her professors were impressed by her intelligence, work ethic, and passion for medicine. She spent long hours in the library, often skipping meals to study, and volunteered at the college hospital to gain practical experience. She never forgot where she came from, and she was always mindful of the fact that she was not just studying for herself, but for her village and her family. During her final year of medical college, Aisha had to complete an internship at a hospital. It was during this time that she truly began to understand the power of her chosen profession. She saw patients from all walks of life, each with their own struggles and stories. Many reminded her of the people from her village, hardworking, kind, and deserving of care, but often neglected by the healthcare system. Aisha treated each patient with the same compassion and respect she had admired in the old village doctor, knowing that this was her calling. After graduating from medical college with honors, Aisha faced another difficult decision. She was offered several lucrative job opportunities in the city, but she couldn't forget the promise she had made to herself years ago. She knew that her village still lacked adequate medical care, and she wanted to give back to the community that had supported her journey. Despite the allure of a comfortable life in the city, Aisha chose to return to her village and set up a small clinic. The return to the village was emotional. Aisha's family and neighbors were overjoyed to see her, but they were even more excited about the clinic she planned to open. With the help of the charity organization that had funded her education, Aisha was able to secure the necessary equipment and supplies. The clinic was modest, but it was a lifeline for the villagers who had long gone without proper health care. Aisha's clinic quickly became the heart of the village. She treated everything from minor injuries to serious illnesses, often working late into the night to care for her patients. Word of her skill and dedication spread, and soon people from neighboring villages began to seek her help. Aisha never turned anyone away, no matter their circumstances. Aisha never turned anyone away, no matter their circumstances. She understood the struggles of poverty and the importance of compassion in medicine. As the years passed, Aisha's clinic grew. She hired a small staff and expanded the services offered, including preventative care and health education programs. She also began training young people from the village who were interested in pursuing careers in healthcare, mentoring them just as her teachers had once mentored her. Aisha's dream of becoming a doctor had not only come true, but it had also transformed the lives of countless others. Aisha's journey from a poor village girl to a respected doctor was not easy, but it was a testament to the power of determination, hard work, and the belief that one person can make a difference. She had overcome incredible odds, breaking barriers and defying expectations, all while staying true to her roots. Through her tireless efforts, Aisha brought hope and healing to her village, proving that no dream is too big and no obstacle too great for those who dare to pursue their passions.